How dare you step into this place after what you have done? Mama Nkemdalim's voice thundered across the prayer hall. Her trembling finger pointed straight at Nkechi, the wife of Pastor Chukwubuka, who stood frozen at the entrance. I saw you. I saw everything. The evidence is here in my phone. The women's fellowship meeting stopped instantly. 30 heads turned. Nkechi's face drained of color. The small black handbag in her hand slipped and hit the floor with a dull thud. How did it come to this? How did the most admired pastor as wife in Umochi become the woman everyone now stared at like a stranger? To understand, we must return 3 moons earlier. Nikki was 38 years old. She had been married to Pastor Chukwubuka for 12 years. They had 2 children, Chidera and Somto, both attending secondary school in Owerri. Nikki was known for her simplicity. Long flowing gowns, no makeup, no jewelry except her wedding band. Her hair always wrapped neatly in plain ichafu. Every Sunday, she sat in the front pew, nodding as her husband preached powerful sermons. After service, she stood beside him, greeting members. God bless you, Mama Nkechi, they would say. You are a true example of a virtuous woman. But inside her home, something had been dying slowly. Pastor Chukwubuka had stopped touching her years ago. No holding hands. No gentle kisses. No late-night conversations. When she tried to embrace him, he would pat her shoulder like a sibling and turn away. At night, he lay facing the wall, softly snoring while she stared at the ceiling in silence. Chukwubuka, we need time together, she once whispered. I am busy with the work of the Lord, he replied without lifting his eyes from his Bible. But I am your wife. My calling comes first, he said firmly. And so Nkechi cried quietly into her pillow, night after night, feeling like furniture in her own home, useful but unseen. One evening, her phone buzzed. It was a message from her university friend, Adaze, who now lived in Manchester. Nkechi, I'm coming to Enugu next month. We must see. When Adaze arrived, Nkechi hardly recognized her. Same age, but glowing. Stylish jeans, elegant blouse, light makeup, beautifully styled natural hair, earrings that shimmered. They embraced tightly. You haven't changed, Adaze laughed. Still the quiet girl from school. They sat in a small restaurant in Enugu, eating and catching up. Adaze spoke of life abroad, business ventures, independence. Then she paused. Nkechi, are you happy? The question pierced like a spear. Tears filled Nkechi's eyes before she could stop them. Adaze held her hand gently. Tell me. And Neki did. The loneliness, the emotional distance, the feeling of being invisible in her own marriage. Adaze listened carefully. You are 38, not 88, she said softly. When last did you do something for yourself? Nkechi searched her memory. She could not remember. Come with me tomorrow, Adaze smiled. Let me remind you who you are. The next day, Adaze took her to a beauty salon in Enugu. 3 hours later, Nkechi stared at her reflection in shock. Her natural hair was styled beautifully, instead of hidden beneath a scarf. Light foundation warmed her skin. A touch of blush. Soft lipstick. Is that truly me? She whispered. That is the woman you buried, Adaze replied. They went shopping afterward. Fitted gowns that were still modest. Elegant blouses. Even a pair of jeans. That night, Nkechi tried on each outfit at home. For the first time in years, she felt beautiful. Alive. Then Pastor Chukwubuka returned home. He walked past her. I am tired, he said flatly. I will sleep. He did not notice her hair, her glow, her effort. Something cracked quietly inside her that night. Weeks passed. Nkechi began wearing her new clothes during the day. Light makeup, subtle perfume. Church women complimented her. Her husband remained silent. One Saturday evening, a day's called. There's a dinner gathering for our old university group tonight in Enugu. Come. Nkechi hesitated. Then she thought of another lonely evening at home. Okay, she heard herself say. She wore a deep blue gown, pearl earrings Adays gifted her, and styled her hair carefully. When she informed her husband, he barely looked up. Do not return late. That was all. At the gathering, old classmates surrounded her with joy. You look wonderful, Nkechi. She laughed freely, something she had not done in years. That was where she met Obinna, 42 years old, a widower. His wife had passed 3 years earlier. He was calm, thoughtful, and attentive. He listened, not distracted, not rushing, not correcting. May I call you sometime? He asked gently. Nkechi froze. She was a married woman, a pastor's wife. But she remembered cold nights, emotional distance, silence. Okay, she whispered. It began with coffee in quiet corners of Enugu. Then lunch, then evening drives. Obinna listened to her dreams, her frustrations, her tears. She felt seen. Twice a week became 3 times. She told her husband she was attending women's fellowship meetings in Umochi or visiting sick members. He never questioned her. She bought more fitted gowns, higher heels, brighter lipstick. She avoided familiar places, or so she thought. Mama Nkemdelim was 60 years old, a sharp-eyed widow who missed nothing. She noticed Nkechi's transformation. At first she admired it, but then she noticed the late outings. One evening, returning from a vigil, Mama Nkemdelim saw something that made her heart pound. Outside a luxurious restaurant in Enugu stood Neti, not the church version. This was different. Scarlet gown, tall heels, full makeup, laughing, holding the arm of a man who was not Pastor Chukwuebuka. Mama Nkemdelim instructed her driver to stop. She watched through the window as they sat close, smiled, held hands across the table. Her fingers trembled as she raised her phone. Click. Click. This must not hide, she whispered. She decided the confrontation would not be private. It would be public. If this story has touched you and you want to find out what happened next to Nkechi, whether her marriage survived, whether forgiveness truly came, and what consequences followed, then don't stop here. Like this video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and share it with someone who needs to hear this story. Your support will bring part 2, where everything unfolds.